بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم. أحمد، كيف الحال؟ عوني. Hello Mustafa, how are you? Abdul Sharawi. Hello Angie, my mentor. You are my mentee. How are things? Great. We have Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year. May 2021 will be a great year for everyone, inshallah. It's our sixth live and it's the first one in 2021. Today we have a lot of great things we will cover, inshallah, and we try to cover it all in the next 60 minutes. Thank you again. Every time I thank everybody for sharing and putting and liking the video and sharing the video. I think last week again we had a nice record views of about 90,000, which is really great, similar to the video before that. So all of that because of your support and your sharing and inviting your friends. One thing I will insist on is sending questions. I haven't been receiving questions, and therefore I have to choose the topics that we will talk about. I got one question from Auni, and we will talk about it and we will answer it right after the beginning. But today, first, I want to talk about a very important topic that we all, at one point or another, we struggle with. And that topic is communication. How we communicate and what are the barriers of communication. And how we improve our communication and how we improve our listening skills and how we improve our body language and how we improve the what we call it, the paraverbal is not the what we say, is how we say things. So I want to cover this in the first half, and then in the second half we'll talk about law number 5 of the 15 invaluable laws of growth. This time we'll talk about the law of consistency. If you remember, we talked about the first 4 laws, which intentionality, awareness, the law of the mirror, and the law of reflection. Today we'll talk about the law of consistency. So the first topic we want to talk about today is communication. What is communication? And one of the things that people struggle with, because of many reasons, is how to get their message across to other people, either in meetings, either in one-on-one communication, either if you're in the supermarket talking to somebody, asking about something. The communication is I think what we do, in even in our sleep, we communicate somehow, somewhere in our dreams. But as long as we are awake during the day, we communicate. We communicate with people through either personally or through the social media or through the phone or through messages or through emails or through all the channels that we communicate through are really what we do almost all day long is communication. Communicating with our kids, communicating with our spouses, communicating. So we communicate constantly in Islam. I got the Islam Murshid from New York watching, and I'm sorry, but Islam used to be one of my team members way back, and got him into the business, and I believe now he's a great area manager somewhere in New York. So glad to have you, Islam, and it's really a success story that I always tell people about. So how do we define communication? The communication simply in the dictionary, if we want to define it, is the interchange of thoughts, opinions, or information by speech, writing, or signs. So interchange of thoughts, opinions, or information by speech or writing, or by sign language. Even people, they cannot communicate verbally, they have sign language. But why communication is important to us as human beings is the effectiveness of the communication can have many different effects on our life. Like what? The level of stress. You know, if you are stressed out, you need to talk to somebody. And, if you don't talk to somebody, you get more stressed. So it has an effect on the level of stress. Relationships with others. Relationship is built on communication. If you don't have the communication, the relationship is broken sometimes. Level of satisfaction with your life. Are you satisfied with your life? And part of that is communicating to yourself, communicating to others, communicating about the status of your life. Am I happy, or I'm sad, or I'm not satisfied? Communication has a lot of things to do with productivity. How productive are you? Some people, they take the whole day writing one email to somebody because they want it to be nice and clean and clear and all of that. They take 2-3 hours writing one email. So you just wasted 2-3 hours that you could actually communicate shorter in 1 line or 2 lines, and you're done with that and you do something else. So productivity, communication affects the productivity somehow. Ability to meet your goals and achieve your dreams. Communication. I just read an article this week, actually, just accidentally, not knowing that I would be talking about communication. Warren Buffett, the billionaire, he actually said something this week in the newspaper. He said, if you can be richer 50% of what you are today, if you just improve your communication skills. And you can Google it. He just said it this week. Warren Buffett, the billionaire, said, if you improve your communication skills, you can be 50% richer than what you are today. So that's another angle of communication. Because communicating well make people listen to you. It improves your network. It enlarges your network to the point that you have more and more people in your circle of communication. These people can help you and can get you to where you want to be. In business, you can improve a business deal and negotiate a better business deal by just being a better communicator. So communication has a lot of emphasis on what we do on a daily basis. Ability to solve problems. You go in, you walk into your boss in his office or her office, and you have a problem somewhere, right? And based on what is said in that office and the way your boss, and based on how you explain the problem and how your boss responds to you, that could be totally a different problem solver mechanism. It could go well, it could go very bad, based on what you actually told him in your communication and based on how he responded to the problem that you just shared. So how do we communicate? What are the ways that we communicate? Well, probably all of them. We know all of them. So the first one is spoken, right? So what we say, this is the spoken way of communication. And this is actually 2 things under that, under the spoken. One, what is called the verbal, is what we say, and the second is paraverbal. This means how you say things, your tone, your speed, your pitch, your volume. Okay, and I'm going to give you an example in a little bit about how you can say one sentence 3 different ways, and the person across understands it totally different. 3 different ways of saying the same sentence. So the first one is spoken, the second one is nonverbal. These are your body language that accompany your words. So what I'm doing right now, you know, my hands are like this. Okay, I'm standing straight. Okay, I'm not hunching over. Okay, I'm not crossing my arms. I can say all of this while I'm doing this. Would you like it on the other side watching me? Actually talking to you like this. Okay, you won't like it, right? So it's our body language, or even if I'm not saying anything and I'm just going like this, what is your reaction? How you will take it from me? Well, he's not in a good mood today. He's angry. Okay, he is upset. It's too many things. Okay, if my tone of voice starts shouting while I'm talking to you right now. Okay, that's a different way that you can take this. So the first one is spoken, which is under it is verbal, and paraverbal, which is our body language. Nonverbal, these are the body language that we do even we don't talk. Okay, and then third is written communication. All the written communication, emails, letters, you know, whatever, newspaper that you read, and somebody sending you messages, fax. I don't know if anybody's still using fax these days, but you know, this is a way of communication. So why we don't communicate well? So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and we will try to answer these questions. Number 1, why we don't communicate well. 2, why we listen to some people and we don't listen to other people. So if you are watching the TV today and you see a program that a guy is shouting and he keeps shouting, what do? You flip the channel. You go to another channel to watch. So we listen to some people and we don't listen to others. It just because it's the way they communicate to us and the way they present themselves with the tone and the body language and the message that they are saying to us. What are the barriers of communications? What are the barriers of communication? There are barriers of communication that prevent somebody from communicating well. What are the common mistakes we do when we communicate? Do we make mistakes? Yes, we do a lot of mistakes when we communicate. What are the different elements of communicating effectively? How can we communicate effectively? And I will end today with what are the 7 things we can do to improve our listening skills. And you know, listening skills for me is a huge thing. And I tell people, you know, 80% you should listen, 20% you should talk. And how you improve that, how you strain yourself from jumping to say something while somebody else is talking, while somebody else is, you know, communicating. How you have that, you know, how you strain yourself to wait for the right time to respond or the right time to ask questions. So there are barriers of communication. Somebody say, I cannot explain the message to other person in words that they understand. Whatever I tell these people, they are not listening to me. Or I cannot explain myself well to them in words. I can show the other person what I mean. Okay? I'm trying, but I can't. I wanna tell him something, but I can't. I don't have enough time to communicate effectively. You know, the kind of short and I don't call it short and sweet, but very short to the point that the other person cannot even understand how to do it and where to do it and what to do. You know, when you tell somebody just go do this, and that person will just take that, and he has no idea how to do it and when to do it and what is the due date for that. The person I'm trying to communicate with doesn't have the same background as me or speaks different language. Obviously, if the other person speaks different language than you, that's a huge barrier of communication. How can you get to that person and make him understand what you're trying to say? You know, if he speaks English and you speak French, or you speak Arabic and he speaks French, and you cannot understand what he's saying, that's a barrier of communication. So these barriers typically break into three categories: language, culture, and location. Language, culture, and location. If that person doesn't speak your language, you have a problem. If that person is from a different culture or a different region, sometimes what you say, he does not understand. And I give you a great example of this. In the Arab world, we all Arabs, right? So we have people from Morocco, and we have people from Egypt, and we have people from Saudi, and we have people from Tunis, and we have people from, you know, Algeria. But we're all Arabs. We're supposed to all speak Arabic. But when we come to speak the dialect of these regions, sometimes we totally don't understand. I usually have a very hard time understanding people from the West region, which is Morocco, Algeria, and Tunis, because their words are you know, merged with some French words and some dialects and local. Unless that person speaks very slowly and really speak pure Arabic, I'm having a hard time understanding. But it's supposed to be all from the same background, which is the Arabic language. So that's on the spoken side. So how can you improvise if the person in front of you having a hard time understanding you? That's when you try to use other sort of communication, like you write it down and you give it to him. Maybe he will understand. By using your body language, sometimes when we are in a different country and we try to get direction, we cannot speak the language. So what we do, we write it down on a piece of paper and we show it to them, and they start telling us, based on their hands and what they tell us, the direction, we just go, because we don't understand what they're saying. So body language and what we call the paraverbal, and what you do when you talk, sometimes you need to improvise and find other means of communication when the first way of communication is not good enough. Okay, so what is the paraverbal communication skills? And this is really where most of us struggle. Most of us struggle with the paraverbal communication. Okay, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. You heard about that phrase before, right? It's not what you say or what you say, it's how you say it. Okay? I'm going to give you the same exact sentence, and they all means different thing. How is that? Okay. The sentence is, I did not say you were wrong. This is the sentence. I did not say you were wrong. But see how I'm going to say the first one. I did not say you were wrong. What does that mean? What this means that I did not say It was not me. It was not me. I did not say you were wrong. So it was not me that said that. Okay? Same sentence. I didn't say you were wrong. So what does that mean? It means I didn't say it that way. I said it a different way. I didn't say you were wrong. Same sentence, huh? So the meaning of this one is different than the meaning from the first one. And the third one, I didn't say you were wrong. So I said something else, but I didn't say you were wrong, implying I said something else. So it is the same sentence, but how you say it and how you stress on things, it makes the biggest difference. And what I say, my body language has to match what I say. I cannot tell you, or I can be communicating to you a great thing that you have done, but I'm frowning and I'm upset, or I'm not looking at you. If I want to tell one of my team that they did a great job, how do they feel if I do it this way? By the way, you did a great job yesterday, and thank you for that. That was good. I am telling him he did a great job, but the way I am, my body language is totally opposite to what I'm saying. Okay? So my body language has to match the words that I'm saying. What about my tone? The tone of voice. When you scream a lot, people start getting intimidated, and they kind of shut down on to what you actually try to say in meetings or in presentations, or people start getting this is a very loud voice, and this is a mistake we all do in our personal life, or yelling at our kids, or doing whatever we do. Sometimes the other person just shuts down and trying to get into a defense mechanism in a way that the more you scream, the more they will get defensive in a way. So the tone, it's very important. A lower tone and a lower pitch is usually gives more authoritative position to the person that is talking. Okay, a person that screams a lot, that all the time, they are screaming all the time, and they're yelling all the time. This is usually a problem with, it's one of the barriers in the other person receiving the communication, right? Smile always on your face when you talk or you present, or you're doing a presentation. While you're standing there, you need to have that constant smile on your face, so people actually, they feel comfort and they feel comfortable listening to you. When you sit up to listen, when you sit up to listen in a meeting or in a gathering, you should sit straight. You should not hunch over. Hunching over, psychologists said too many things. They kind of take that body language and put it in a when the person hunched over, he has an anxiety, he's insecure. When the person crosses his arm like this while somebody's talking, that means he's very defensive. And so all of these things, the tone, the body language, the way you say things, now is coming together to put things into perspective, how you communicate effectively. How many times we saw people sitting in meetings, they look like they're listening, they look like they actually paying attention, they taking notes, but they are not listening. The great example of this are the people, they interview people on TV. These ladies in, especially in the Egyptian TVs, when they interview somebody, she has a list of questions that the producer gave her to ask all of these questions. And the minute she gives the person the first question, she wants to jump to the second question. She did not listen to what he said in his answer in the first question. And she's so occupied that I want to ask the second question. I want to ask the second question. And sometimes the third question, the guy already answered in the first question, but because she was not listening, what she does, she asks the question again. And then the guest comes and said, oh, by the way, I just answered this. Because she was not listening. We have people like this sit in meetings. They are so occupied about what I'm going to ask next, just to show that I'm participating. He is not listening. He's hearing things, but he's not listening. He's taking notes to prepare for the second question. There are people, actually, they don't even ask questions, but they take notes. And because they're so occupied in taking notes, they don't listen to what the person is saying. They're just writing things. So the speed of your speech, how you speak so fast or so slow? If right now in this live, I start speaking extremely fast, and I can't do that, I'm gonna lose you. Or I'm gonna start speaking very slow. I'm gonna lose you too. So you have to find the right speed, the right tone, and the right pitch. High pitch or low, and the right tone and the right speed. And you capture the audience and you capture people just by doing that. They get so interested in watching and get into what you say. Okay? So, speed, tone, pitch, body language, the paraverbal. Here is a very important part. In 1971, there is a psychologist named Albert Mehrabian. Albert did a study, and that's way back, 1971. I'm not gonna take you into the details of the study, but he called it the silent message, or the silent messages. The conclusion of the study, the conclusion of the study, he concluded that there is 7% the effect of our communication, or the effectiveness of our communication, 7% only of what we say. 7% only of what we say. 38% of how we say it. And 55% is body language. So 93% of the effectiveness of our communication is not what we actually say. It's how we say it and our body language saying it. This is extremely crazy when you think about it. It's only 7% of the content of the message that makes the message effective. But the 93% is how we say it and our body language while we're saying that. So if you know that, you have to be very careful of not just what you say, is how you say it. Because what I just mentioned, the match of your body language and the match of your tone and the match of your pitch and the match of what are you doing during that time when you're saying that message, it will give the 100% effectiveness of that message, okay? So when I tell people how you improve communication, and if English is not your first language, or English is your second language, and you're watching this live today, and you're having a very hard time understanding 50% of what I say and 70% of what I say, then the barriers of communication here is coming because of the language issue. English is not your first. But if I switch to Arabic now and I start speaking in Arabic and saying the same content in Arabic, you'll probably get 100% of what I say if Arabic is your first language. And this is why I'm saying improving communication is not just about improving your body language or your tone or whatever, but there are fundamentals. If you don't speak the language, then you will have to stick to communication in your own language only, which is, you know, that's fine. But if you are on that live today, I assume that you have some sort of, you know, the understanding of the English language, that you're getting some or all of what I'm saying today. So here are the psychologists saying that sitting hunched over typically indicates stress or discomfort. If I go like this, I'm hunched over, that means stress or discomfort. Leaning back when standing or sitting indicates a casual or relaxed demeanor. You know, if I sit like this and, you know, I'm very relaxed, or I'm standing up, I'm very relaxed. Standing straight, stiffness, or you are stiff in the army, right? In the army, you see how soldiers stand. They stand very stiff, like this. They have an anxiety. They actually, they have a fear. They have a lot of things going through their minds at that time, because they are afraid of they're gonna get punished if they are not standing straight or whatever. So stiffness, when you stand, you know, kind of straight but stiff like that, they say that it's probably fear or an anxiety. Cross arm and legs often indicates a closed mind. Closed mind. Okay, I'm not saying this. These are the psychologists that saying this. So don't say Hisham is, you know, these are scientific facts. The psychologists are saying this. Fidgeting is usually a sign of nervousness. When people fidget all the time, you know, they move in their hand, they kind of, you know, they have to have something in their hand all the time. They're nervous, okay? Moving their legs, tapping their legs all the time on the floor, they're nervous. Okay, facial expression, somebody just left, they just left a message saying facial expression. Yes, smiles and frowns speak a million words. If you are smiling and you don't say anything, you can read that kind of comfort for people to come to you and talk to you. And if you are frowning, you know, people kind of get scared of you. A raised eyebrow can mean curiosity or disbelief. When you say, really? That's a disbelief. Curiosity, what happened? So you raise your eyebrows. So these are the facial expression when you talk. I'm going to tell you something. When I was certified as a public speaker, we had to take training how we you know, speak publicly. And one thing I never knew that public speakers do on the stage that we don't realize, but they're actually doing it on purpose. If you imagine the stage from one end to another, and the speaker, he moves across the stage, I found out that the professional speakers, what they do speak, they actually do something extremely interesting. When they talk about facts, this is one of the examples. I'm just giving you an example. He chooses a spot on the stage that he always stands there when he talks about facts. And he chooses another spot when he talks about good feelings. And he chooses another spot when he talks about sad feelings. So while we, the audience, looking at him, he's just moving. But he's moving because he's connecting indirectly with us, that when he gets to that spot, he's actually talking about good feelings or something funny or something that makes us laugh. And when he gets to that spot, he actually now, indirectly, we have connected us without even talking to him, or but indirectly, psychologically, he is telling us, when I get to that spot, I'm going to talk about sad feelings or sad things. I didn't know that. And I didn't know that, you know, when you stand talking, your hands plays a great part of what you do and what you say. So there are many things where, you know, to get certified as a public speaker, you need, you really to master certain things. So you are not creating a distraction to the person or the person is listening to you. It's a great example. Two lives ago, I think I did it, and the background was different in Dubai, and I had my living room in the background, and I got a comment from my niece. She is on the live today, and she said, "Please change the background because I was distracted by what you're actually saying because I kept looking at the background. I was trying to look at the chandelier, what does the chandelier looks like, or look at that." Well, this is all great women stuff, right? The women are so fascinated about what the chandelier looks like and what is the thing. We men, we don't even care. You can give us a full room full of things, we don't even remember what was the background was like. But she said, "Please change the background because the background distracted me." And this is absolutely great feedback, right? So try to keep the background simple, probably a wall and a picture, and that's it. You don't want people to get distracted about your background or the noise, the environment. There's a lot of noise around you. If there's a lot of noise around me today, and I have probably my son running and all of that, you probably will not get the right message. And that will be a little bit distracting to you and to me and to everyone. So facial expressions, body language is important. And the last part of this is of communication, is listening. So, Hisham, are you telling me that listening is part of the communication? It is absolutely 80% of the communication is listening. Because you cannot communicate with the other person if you do not listen carefully to what he is trying to tell you. You cannot ask the next question unless this person tells you exactly what he means. So if you are not listening, what that will create, it will create a kind of hollow environment that you're saying things and he's saying things and you cannot hear one another. Okay? And this is what happens when you fight, right? When you fight with somebody, you're not hearing them, you're not listening to them, and they are not hearing you and they are not listening to you. And what happened? Bad communication, bad consequences, bad results. Okay? So listening is the process of looking at the words and the meaning around them. The meaning around the words, not the words itself. So when you listen, you can actually understand. When we recite Quran, When we recite the Quran, we are ordered to listen, not to hear. استمعوا له وأنصتوا. So we need to listen so we can understand, not hearing it. Because hearing it, it's not going to make us think. So listening is actually understanding what's around the word we just said. So I'm going to give you, before I finish this, this is a long topic that we can cover in 1 or 2 days. But I always, in this half hour, I try to give you really the most important thing that you can take away, and it can help you with your communication and can help you with your day-to-day life or day-to-day business. I'm going to give you 7 things psychologists said to help you listen better. 7 things. Write them down. Okay? When you are listening, listen, don't talk on the phone, text, clean off your desk, or do anything else. So just listen. Don't do anything else. Don't text. Don't talk on the phone. Don't clean up your desk. Avoid interruptions. So if you want to listen to somebody, get them to his office or go to his office, lock the door or close the door, and just you and him. No interruption, no distraction. Aim to spend at least 80% of your time listening and less than 20% of your time talking. We talked about that. When you talk, make sure it's related to what the other person is saying. How many times we see that? When you talk, make sure that you're talking about the same topic that the other person is talking to you about. Don't go different ways. And this is really one of the major things in interviews. If you go for an interview, Muhammad Ali just said 2 ears and 1 mouth to listen more than speak. That's absolutely true, Muhammad. That's why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Thank you for your comment. But one of the major things in interviews, if you go to interview for a job, when I interview somebody and I ask him about a specific thing, and he takes me in a journey from South America all the way to Africa, and he did not even answer the question I just asked him, this is the first 10-second impression that I get. I don't think he's the right person for the job. Okay? I get that because he is not straight to the point. He does not focus. All of that is giving me a lot of indications. He's not a focused person. Okay? He's not straight to the point. He cannot express himself well. So when somebody does not express themselves well in an organization, in a business environment, that's a problem. So make sure when you communicate, you are communicating on the same topic the other person is talking about. So don't jump into things and go to another topic and in and out of the topic. That's not a proper listening or a proper communication way. Do not offer advice unless the other person asks you for it. If you are not sure what they want, ask. So when somebody's talking and you're listening, don't jump in and offer an advice. Wait until they're done. And if they ask for the advice, give it. And if they don't ask, just ask them if they need help at the end. But don't keep jumping in because he may come to that point later on. Make sure the physical environment is conducive to listening or suitable to listening. Try to reduce noise and distraction. We talked about that as well. If it is a conversation when you are required to take notes, try not to let the note taking disturb the flow of the conversation. If you need a moment to catch up, choose an appropriate moment to ask for a break. If you are sitting and you're taking a lot of notes, don't make that distract you from listening to what the other person is saying. And if it's too fast, ask for a break so you can catch up. So these are the 7 things can help you to be a better listener. Okay? 80% of the time listening and 20% of the time talking. So hopefully I give you some hints and some things that you can use to improve your communication. I want to get into the law number 5, which is the law of consistency. But before that, I want to answer a business question that Auni asked. He said, again, this question keep coming up. I think people are fascinated about ghost kitchens and dark kitchens. They say, are ghost kitchens going to take over restaurants in 2021 and 22? I think I answered this before, but I'm going to say one more time. Restaurant business is about experience. Restaurant business and having a good meal is not about eating the food. It's about the whole experience. Now, on average, worldwide, or the businesses we were involved in, delivery represents 25% of anybody's business, give and take. You know, you can, pizza business is a little bit larger than that. Maybe, I think Pizza Hut was about 40% to 45%. KFC was 25%, Hardee's was 25%. So delivery represents 25% of your business. What does that mean? Forget about Corona and forget about COVID-19. I think these things would go away. It's not sooner than later. But the restaurant is an experience. To go and sit and enjoy the food is not just about the food. It's about the food and the environment and the whole experience that you're going through for 1 hour or hour and a half to eat your meal if you dine outside. Okay, even if you go to a food court and order your food and sit down and eat it, that's experience. So if the ghost kitchens, which mainly delivery business, I will say that one more time. I will never give my brand to somebody that can abuse it. If these dark kitchens want to take the right of international brands or certain brands to run it, they will abuse it because you are just one of 30 or 40 brands that they are running inside the small space, 10 by 10, and they have about 40 brands or 50 brands sometimes. They don't care about your standards, they don't care about your recipes, they don't care about anything. But what I said before, that if you yourself as an international brand will go into places and open these dark kitchens or ghost kitchens to cover this trade area for delivery, and you are the one gonna run it, instead of opening a full new store and you can have just one dark kitchen with a very low cost and you can actually do the delivery from there, that's a great idea. But will the ghost kitchens and the dark kitchens will take over the restaurants? The answer to this question, I don't think so. And I think people are investing so much in them. But once Corona's back, people are going to be so hungry to go back to restaurants. The delivery business, in my expectation, after COVID-19 is over, is actually going to drop down because people want to go out and people want to eat normal. And, so whatever you're experiencing right now, 20% growth or 25 or 30% growth on delivery, people, once they start going to their normal life and they start going out to eat, I think the delivery business will take a dip and it will take a step back a little bit. But it's good to have it because it's 25% of your business. I hope I answered the questions. For Auni on the ghost kitchens, I don't think it will take over in 2021 and 2022. There's a lot of people investing in them as we speak, but again, I think they are a little bit. There are a lot of studies happening in the States right now and in Canada and in Europe about that. There are a lot of people saying it's not going to work. A lot of people say it will work, but it's good to have it. But my advice to you, don't ever give your brand to somebody who's not going to be taking care of that brand for you, okay? And the only one, you are the custodian of this brand, so make sure it's under your custody, not with anybody else. Okay, so let's talk about law number 5, which is the law of consistency. Motivation gets you going, discipline keeps you going. Let me repeat that. Motivation gets you going, and discipline keeps you going. What is consistency? Consistency is, there are people that they constantly trying to grow. And there are people that they grow some and they stop. And then they grow and they stop. And then they grow and they stop. These are inconsistent people. These are consistent people. So, do you know what you need to improve? That's a question. Okay? Do you know why you want to keep improving? So, take the why test question. I'm going to ask you some questions coming up. Ready? Go. Do you constantly procrastinate on important tasks? You kind of, tomorrow, next week. Inshallah, we'll do it in the afternoon. If it doesn't happen today, it will happen tomorrow. Okay? Are you kind of that person? Do you require push to do small tasks? Like somebody needs to really push you to do small tasks. Yes or no? These are yes or no questions. Okay? So put it in your head. Do you perform duty just to get by? I'm just here to do my job to get my pay at the end of the month or at the end of the week. Are you that kind of person? Okay? Do you constantly talk negatively about your work? Yes or no? Do you talk negative about your work? Do efforts of friends to encourage you irritate you instead? The efforts that your friends doing to encourage you, do you feel bothered by that? That somebody tell you, hey, you know, great job, let's go, and please leave me alone. You know, I don't need that. Do you start projects and abandon them? When you start something, do you leave it in the middle and you start something else? Okay? Do you avoid self-improvement opportunities? Do you know when you are supposed to improve? Okay? So, these are the things you need to ask yourself. If you are that kind of person, if you said yes to all of the above, you are on the inconsistent side. And you don't know what you need to improve. If you said yes to most of the questions, or no to most of the questions, you're probably on the consistent side. Okay? And just remember now, this is the consistent side, and this is the inconsistent side. See? I'm doing the stage thing now. Maybe it's time to stop setting goals. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean I stop setting goals? Maybe it's time to stop setting goals. Because people, or all of us, are two types of people. We are either goal-oriented or growth-oriented. So either we are goal-oriented or we are growth-oriented. The goal-oriented people, what they do, when they achieve their goals, they stop. Growth-oriented people, when they achieve their goal, the first goal, they already know what the second goal is, and the third goal is, and the fourth goal is, and the end of mind. They have the end in mind. What I want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Okay? So these are the growth-oriented people. These are the goal-oriented people. So, what John Maxwell is suggesting, that you need to stop maybe creating goals. Instead, you may want to create growth plan. Okay? So I'm going to tell you the difference between the goal-oriented people and the growth-oriented people. What are the difference? The goal consciousness Focuses on destination. The growth-oriented people focuses on the journey. Clear? The goal-oriented people motivates you and others. The growth-oriented people are matures you and others. Okay? So these guys are driven by motivation. These guys are more on the maturity side. They kind of know where they're going. Okay? Seasonal, lifelong. So these guys are short-term, these guys are long-term. The goal-oriented people, they like to be challenged. The growth-oriented people, they like to be changed. This is deep. This, what I just said right now, is deep. The goal-oriented people, they like to be challenged. The growth-oriented people, they like to be changed. Changed to better, to things, to better people, better person, better leader. Yeah? These guys, they stop when the goal is reached. These guys, they keep going beyond the goal. We talked about that. These guys, they wait for the growth to come, and these guys, they take responsibility to grow. So they are self-initiators to their growth. These guys, they're just waiting for the opportunity to come to them. Yeah? These guys, they learn only from mistakes. And these guys, they learn before mistakes. So these guys right here, we know the growth, the consistent, yeah? They learn before mistakes happen. And these guys, they depend on good luck. And these guys, they rely on hard work. These guys, they work so hard to reach what they want to reach on the journey. And I will take Islam Murshid today on this goal. He started with us as a team member in Pizza Hut, I think sometimes in 2000 maybe. And he moved his way up to a chef supervisor and then a restaurant manager for quite some times. And now he's one of a successful area manager. These are the life journey of things, and I'm sure he will be working on better and better things to do. When I see these examples, these are the growth-oriented people that they really working hard to go where they want to be. Okay, goal-oriented people, they are good people. There is nothing wrong with them. Okay, and they are satisfied when they reach a goal. But how you can challenge yourself if you are a goal-oriented person to move from the goal to the growth phase and become a growth-oriented person. Waiting is often the excuse we use for not producing. Waiting. Let's wait for the opportunity to come. Let's wait for my boss to be happy about me. Let's wait for the promotion to come. Let's wait for my pay raise to come. Okay, this is waiting, is an excuse we use for not producing. But being consistent is the answer for productivity, to be constantly producing and constantly productive. If you develop the habits of success, you will make success a habit. Let me say that one more time. I didn't say that. There's a gentleman by the name is Michael Angier, said, if you develop the habits of success, you will make success a habit. You will enjoy success so much that the minute you finish that success, you are so hungry to move forward to the next success. Being constantly productive doesn't mean grinding away at work. It doesn't mean that you stay until midnight to work. It simply means that the consistent person is the productive person. Okay? Productive. In the 8 hours you work, how you are productive, how you learn the most, how you give the most. And this is the hard work. You don't have to work overtime. You don't have to work double shift, okay, to do that. But if you talk to the guys that are very successful, they said, yes, we did work when people were sleeping, okay? And and we did work when people were resting, because they made it in a short period of time. But you know, to kind of compress time and get to where you want to be, sometimes people just work a little bit harder and a little bit over what they're supposed to do. Okay, so consistency is about how you be constantly growing, how you have the end in mind somewhere written, and whatever you achieve, this is just a step on a step forward on in your journey to reach your destination. And I haven't met somebody who's growth oriented, that really have an end goal in mind. People learn when they are in their 60s, and they learn when they are in their 70s, and they learn when they're retired. There is no really retirement for such people, because they are very growth oriented. It's inside them. Success is actually what they look for every day, and what they look for to make other people successful as well. So be consistent. Remember this and remember that, right? So people are here. These are the consistent, growth oriented. They enjoy the journey so much. And people are here, they goal oriented. They working hard. They do things, but they stop and go. These guys, they do not stop. I hope this is the law number 5 of the 15 invaluable laws of growth. Inshallah, the next time we will talk about the law of environment. And man, this is a great topic that you know, we have to cover, and it's a great thing, which really says that the growth is not just about you, it's about your surrounding, it's about your environment. If you try to grow in an environment that is not good for growth, what's going to happen is going to bring you back, okay? And it's not going to support you. So next law is the law of environment. Sadly, next week I will not be, we will not have a live next week, because as I will be traveling. So inshallah, we will meet the Saturday after next for another exciting 60 minutes. Always a pleasure to have you on. For anybody that joined us today is a new joiner, and you know, we welcome all of you. Please share the video forward, share the event forward, send me questions so we can have that great interactive sessions. Muhammad Abbas from Canada, always love to see you guys. Ahmad Al Hafiz, Ahmad Al Hadi, Mansoor, Abdo, you guys are all great, and thank you so much for sharing the video. And inshallah, we'll see you in 2 weeks. God bless you, take care, and Happy New Year.